So today I'm going to show you how to install the SwarfWorks Elite light bar utilizing Baja Designs LP9s, running LP6s and a pair of LP4s, and also how to install the camera relocation for your 360 camera. So let's get started. So let me go over the parts and pieces needed to do this. Obviously you need your lights. On this project I'm going with LP9s, a pair of LP6s and a pair of LP4s. Let me open up the light mount here. So hardware kit, lots of foam. So here's the mount. It's really quite heavy duty and made of DOM tubing, 1/8 wall with 1/8 inch sheet metal on top and severely heavy duty brackets. And then I'm also going to do the 360 camera relocation, so we can move the factory camera out so your LP9s, LP6s, whatever, don't interfere with them. Got a couple turnbuckles and a little bit more hardware. So first thing we need to do is get this plastic fascia off here. And obviously I'm running my winch setup, so I'm going to take the hook fairlead off real quick and then pop that off and we'll get underway. All right, so I just got to take my fairlead off and my hook off, so let me get that done real quick. All right, now I've got the hook out of the way. Obviously, if you're not running that the winch setup, you'd start here. So this fascia, it's just held on there with clips. Mine are kind of worn out because I've had this thing on dozens of times. So you can just start with maybe like a trim tool, screwdriver maybe wrapped in cloth or something. Like I said, mine's kind of worn out. I'm actually going to replace this during this video. So So a lot of times the clips get stuck in there. You grab some needle nose pliers and pinch down the two little prongs there, pop them out. So what we'll need to do is take the outer bumper bolt off of both sides, 21 millimeter nut. And then we'll want to remove both of these on both sides. These bolts right here holding the center section of the bumper out to the outer wings. So. All right, so now I'm going to mount the lights to the light bar. Nothing real special about this. You'll see the matching holes and slots. On this, if you're using the camera relocation kit, on the center lights, just leave the bolts out of the inner ones. So these will be my two center LP9s. So just for now, until we get it mounted, just leave those off. So I'm going to go quickly just show this probably in a time lapse, bolting all this together, and then put my wires. There's actually enough room in that tubing. If you're making your own wiring harness, you can slip a lot of wires in there. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll go from there. All right, so now that we got all the lights mounted to the bar, if you want to do the camera relocation kit, we have to take the grill off, and I'll try to explain some stuff on that. I have all mine taken apart. What you basically do is take the camera housing out of here, take the camera out, you got your washer line, and then your plug for the camera. So the trick is to make enough room, or make enough length of the cable. You have to kind of undo a few clips inside there and reroute the wire a little bit. Instead of kind of coming down and straight up, you have to kind of cut across here a little bit. So you just want, you know, maybe 6 inches extra pulling out of there. Let me grab my extra grill real quick and I'll kind of show you that. All right, so this is looking at the back side of the grill. This has been taken apart. You can see the studs here, so all the whole shutter system is off of this. We're just looking at the back of the grill. So normally, this is the camera housing. It sets in here like this. There's a stud right here with a nut on it, and then 2 screws. And then your camera goes in there. That's usually how it is. There's a washer nozzle right here too. So there's another piece of plastic that clips in here. It's really, really quite simple. Take that piece of plastic out. It'll come out when you do that. Pop the camera out, and then that washer nozzle just snaps in there. So just push it straight out the front. And then your wiring comes across here and up. So what you want to do is just make enough length out of it. Just run it across here, zip tie it, and then push enough out that. And then this piece, just hang on to. If you ever sell the truck or whatever, you can put it back. So, and then hold on to your camera. And I'll show this a little bit, but here's the relocation piece. It's actually one of those same housings I cut down. Stainless bracket here, made in the US. Everything I do is made in the US. And then I'll take this apart, show you how to put it all back together. And then this piece mounts in between those lights. So anyway, so once you've taken the grill apart, put it back together, we're to this point now, we can put the bar on there. All right, so now that we got the lights all mounted to the mount, we'll throw it up here. I usually start by putting the 21mm nut, get that ready in a socket. You might have to just pull those just a little bit. In the welding, it might just take it in a little bit. But I didn't really have to bend it at all. I just had to put enough little pressure on it to get that to go on the... So now that those are hand snugged up, we can go ahead and put the lower screws in. So these screws are way longer than they need to be, but it helps kind of getting it all together. Okay, so now we got the smaller screw, the larger screw, and the nut. just hand tight. So we'll go ahead and tighten those up now. I like to start by the big one there, and then make sure that these are just hand threaded in there so they stay lined up. And then, find the right rim. All right, so now that we have it mounted, have our lights on there, we can do the camera relocation kit. It's pretty straightforward. I've been sending them like this, kind of pre-assembled, but you need to take it apart. So pop the 3 screws off the back here. It's a Torx T15 with some stainless screws that are made for plastic. So take those 3 off and then take the next 3 off. And then you pull out this part here that's kind of a little bit softer durometer. So now what you do is you take your washer nozzle that you pulled out of your original one, press that in here, and then take your camera, put your camera in there, then take that softer piece, put that in there, and just reassemble this. Let's see. Okay, now we'll reattach it to the stainless bracket. I like to kind of just put a few threads in there, and then we'll kind of line it up nice and even here. Oops. So that top piece should match that plastic pretty good. Doesn't take too much. So now we have the bracket with the camera on there. We can hook up our washer nozzle and then the camera plug. And that fits right in between those center LP9s. And now we'll put those side screws in that hold the bracket to the LP9. So do that quick. Okay, so I obviously need to aim all these lights. You can see they're kind of all over the place. So when you go to do this, what I found out the best thing to do is I usually take a little bubble level and aim these straight forward, and then I would tighten down the pivoting bolt on this, and then as you do that, you can go turn the 360 camera on, and it's pretty easy to get straight. So you can angle this up or down a little bit, and you'll just see the perspective change on that front camera on the 360 view. So once you get that set, then you can go through and align the rest of your lights. I'll do that in a minute, but I wanted to show what you need to do on the rest of this first. So the next step is the plastic fascia. and cutting the slots. Obviously, you need to modify that. This one here that I took off here, actually, I had one on here before, my prototype one. So you just need a slot. It goes up from the bottom like that. I've got another one I'm going to cut so you can see how that's done. So here's one that I've got my fair lead hole cut out for. So now I just need to mark this, cut the slots, and mount it on there. So I'd like to provide a template for this so you could just lay on and it would match this. I'm going to try to do that. Hopefully that's included in it. If not, I'm sorry, but I'll try. So we'll get this on here, and then what you want to do is you want to leave enough gap around there that, say in the winter, when this thing shrinks just a little bit, that it doesn't catch on the edge of that and crack it. So we'll just kind of mark it up here, eyeball it, and then we'll kind of cut it to fit. So I'm just going off that clip right there. I can kind of push that pretty close in there to get my left and right here. So that's where that goes. So to do this, once I got my marks made, a lot of times just the right angle cutoff wheel works pretty good. Kind of makes a little mess, but seems to work pretty good. I'm sure you could use fine tooth reciprocating saw blade. All right, here's the moment of truth. All right. So now that that's on, we can mount the turnbuckles on here, and pretty close. All right, so now we can mount the turnbuckles and the brackets that mount the turnbuckles. So to make this to where I could have this fascia come on and off, I made these brackets here, and they'll bolt on next onto the light mount itself. So we got these 1/4-20 stainless screws. So we'll mount those on there with these nuts. So these, with the bend in it actually goes, this will be closer to the fascia instead of the other way. There is a left and a right on that. All right, so now that we got the brackets on, we can mount the turnbuckles. So these little clips here, you rotate it right around to the right spot there, and then you just rotate it around. You don't have to try to pry it open or anything. Just pop those off. It takes a second to kind of get used to that, but we'll put those in. All right, so now that's on there, let's get the other one on and then I'll show you how to tighten those up. Okay, so now we got the turnbuckles on, we want to tighten these up. So what you want to do is just adjust it. What you want to do is extend the turnbuckle and put a little bit of upward pressure on this. It just helps take out some of the vibration if there's any. This thing's built like a tank, but these help just a little bit. So once again, adjust it so you're actually putting some force outward on this, and then tighten up the nuts. 1/2-inch wrench, doesn't take a lot. Once again, I just use an Allen wrench that happens to fit that. All right, so that pretty much does it for the installation. Obviously finished wiring them up, and then align them, and we'll be good to go. So there's one more thing I wanted to show real quick. I have this little bubble level. I can't even remember where I got it from, but it's super handy to get these close to being level. You just throw it on the face of that, nice and square. I mean, this is kind of like bore sighting a rifle. I mean, you get it really close, and then you get you within the ballpark, and then you can go out, try it out, adjust a little bit to your likings. So. All right, so there is low beams, high beams, LP9s, LP6s, and the LP4s, and lasers on the pillars. So high beams, low beams,